going on, guys?
Thank you. Hello. Yeah. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate you. All right. Well, we're going to be talking about the Insurrection Act imminent. National Guard mobilizes into Minneapolis. Now, supposedly they're going there to actually help police officers get control of the mobs and stuff like that. We'll see, because a couple days ago, you had Tim Walz saying he was going to use them and activate them to get rid of ICE.
I don't think you could do that.
Well, sure you could. It's not a good idea to do so. Could and should are two different things.
I mean, would the National Guard follow orders on that?
Well, the National Guard follows the orders of the governor of a state, unless you use the Insurrection Act. Then at that point, they'll take orders from the White House.
We need peace. Hello, how you doing, Stormbringer? Wow, that's very interesting, Matt. I know I was kind of following along, and just in this I know, but I just like to lay it out for people that are watching, that are learning as well. But you're right, 100% on that.
Because Governor Walz is the one that's activating them. So, he's activating them. He has control over them until Trump decides he wants to get involved, if he does, when it comes to the Insurrection Act.
So at the moment right now, it's looking like Walz is the one that's activated the guard in this area. Is that what's happening?
He's done. He did. Yes.
Okay.
I got a video talking about it. Let me go ahead and bring it up.
That really ups the game a lot. That forces Trump's hand to have to do the Insurrection Act, doesn't it?
Well, it depends on what they're used for. If they're used to go after ICE agents, yes. But if they're not, they're used to try to get things calmed down, then no.
And I'm sure the media, if Trump was forced to do that, would follow right along with Trump and say, this is a great idea. Good job, Trump. Or this would be, the media will run with this in a poor way, of course, if this goes down to that. But yeah, go ahead and do the video. Yeah.
Enforcement office has learned the department. Tonight, Minnesota officials ramping up security ahead of weekend protests.
We're mobilizing elements of our National Guard to support local law enforcement.
As overnight, we witnessed yet another face-off between anti-ICE protesters and federal officers.
Seems like we have another situation. If we turn the camera on, they are now telling the crowd to move back, and you see the crowd becoming very hostile.
Later, protesters pounding on this officer's car, who drew his weapon as they drove through. DHS says 12 anti-ICE protesters were arrested for assaulting law enforcement. This suspect arrested for allegedly breaking into an FBI vehicle and stealing a rifle. All happening just over a week since the shooting death of Renee Good. Video showing Good accelerating her vehicle, an ICE officer in front of it opening fire. Get out of the car. Oh! DHS says the ICE officer acted in self-defense. Tonight, new documents released by the city of Minneapolis say paramedics found Good in the car with 2 apparent gunshot wounds to her chest, 1 to her forearm, and a possible 4th to the side of her head. 911 transcripts describe the chaos at the scene, with DHS requesting local law enforcement who helped agents evacuate. While DHS tonight criticizing Democratic city officials for not allowing local police to work with ICE to arrest criminal suspects.
An individual from Ecuador who murdered his 3-month-old son. An individual who's perpetuating human slavery and human trafficking. These are all the people that we've arrested in Minneapolis.
With Democratic lawmakers holding an unofficial hearing here today.
My citizenship did not protect me from being physically detained.
Slamming President Trump's immigration enforcement.
We are being provoked. We are being terrorized. And as many have described it, we're being occupied.
And late tonight, NBC News has learned the Department of Justice is investigating Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey and Governor Tim Walz on the theory they conspired to impede federal law enforcement officers. A senior law enforcement official and a person familiar with the matter told NBC News. Shaquille Brewster, NBC News, Minneapolis.
You know what? When I see Jacob Frey's face, it's just like you just want to punch that. You just want to punch him right in that big stupid nose, because his face looks like he's just like, "Hey, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?" That's what it looks like he's fixing to say every time he looks up, and you just want to go right in the face, be like, yeah, or jam Tim Walsh's head up his own behind. That'd be another one too. I shouldn't be like that, but anyways, I hate those people. Don't like them.
Anyway, the point is, looks like they had to bring the National Guard in there because not only were they attacking ICE, these protesters, they're attacking also Minnesota police and a whole bunch of other people as well as citizens. Here's the thing: majority of these people that are protesting, they're not from Minnesota. They're being bussed in and getting paid. They're paid agitators. And the thing is, there's actually these groups out there that have money off to the side so they can start bailing these people out when they get arrested.
That's why I say arrest them all and break the bank. Make them spend that money. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking the same thing. And on Friday, Donald Trump warned. He warned Minneapolis and Minnesota, if things don't get under control, we're going to have to use the Insurrection Act. And see, the thing is, if you look at how the Insurrection Act works, he has to do a warning first before he can use it. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason he had to do that. Now, generally, the time limit is anywhere from 12 hours to 24 hours before you can use it. I think it's actually 24 hours, but people said that it's been used before after 12. So we'll see what happens here. If he announced it yesterday, that means more than likely it'll be either late tonight or it'll be tomorrow.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that people say, well, the Insurrection Act has never been used. I'm like, no, hold on a second. If I'm not mistaken, during the LA riots, April 12th, 1992.
Well, actually, Trump, he has his own figures. Let me go ahead and bring it up. He'll let you know how many times it's been used. Mm. Well, he won't let you know how many times. It'll let you know how many presidents have done it.
Mm.
Say it. What's the trigger for the Insurrection Act in Minnesota? What are you waiting for?
Well, the Insurrection Act, which has been used by 48% of the presidents as of this moment, the Insurrection Act also, if you look at it, I believe it was Bush, the elder Bush, he used it, I think, 28 times. It's been used a lot. And if I needed it, I'd use it. I don't think there's any reason right now to use it. But if I needed it, I'd use it. It's very powerful.
Well, this is several weeks old. This was several weeks old. I remember this video. When he says elder Bush,
he's talking about
wrong?
Bush 41.
Right. But for some odd reason, Debbie Wasserman comes to mind when he says elder Bush. I mean, I could be just...
I don't know why that is. But as far as I know, when it comes to when you're talking about the LA riots, that's actually, I believe, happened. And I think Bill Clinton did that when that happened. It might have been the elder Bush, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember when that was when that happened exactly. What year? I think it was.
It was 1992, April 12th. Think about this. What reminds me of that was the song by Sublime, April 12th, 1992. Where you think I got this guitar? Because they actually wrote a song about participating in the Rodney King riots, where they broke into
April 12th, 1992.
Yeah, that's the name of the song.
Then that'll be the elder Bush.
Yeah, because that's that song. It's April 12th, 1992. Such and such and such. He's singing about how he broke into this pawn shop and got this guitar that you hear me playing on now. And he's like, nee. So yeah, it was pretty wild how he actually admitted to.
It hasn't happened, Romeo. It hasn't happened yet. We're waiting for it. So
yeah,
because Tim Walz has activated the troops, the National Guard.
So if I reading through some headlines before I went on with you to kind of catch up a little bit because I've been really busy today. What's her name? God Almighty, the lady that's going to be governor for Virginia now. Oh my goodness!
Yes,
Shagan.
It's Abigail
something.
Schallenberger. Spanberger.
She has. As soon as she was inaugurated, she said she undid Youngkin's thing where the police are not required to work with ICE.
Yes, he had an executive order having the police. She decided to revoke that and made her own one to say they don't have to.
Yeah. Well, she's doing exactly what she was, what she was put in to do. She's working. She is a CIA operative, one of many, by the way, that's in our government working right now that are, really deep ties to CIA. And if you know, and I know both, Matt, that once CIA, always CIA.
Romeo. So yes, he did.
Yeah,
he did activate it. Now it's supposed to be what they're supposed to be used for is to help the police officers deal with the riots. Or I'm sorry, peaceful protest. Peaceful protest.
You quoted it right. You did it. You said you
I quoted it right, but actually it's a peaceful protest by what the mainstream media is calling it. Yeah. Now, the other thing also, I have a video from a border commander warning that anarchist leftist rioters are targeting civilians thinking they are ICE. Let's go ahead and take a look at that video.
Dude, watching these watching these Antifa rioters stop vehicles like they're some sort of authority figure doing exactly the same thing that ICE was doing, but calling ICE an asshole. It's so crazy.
Anarchists. I'm calling them anarchists now. These anarchist rioters, these bad people that wish to harm law enforcement are now harming American citizens. Those vehicles you mentioned that were vandalized, they've also, we've received reports, vandalized indiscriminately many vehicles in those hotel parking lots. They don't care if it's government vehicles and then they happen to get several vehicles of American citizens, innocent civilians, they don't care. And we're seeing that now. We're hearing reports from the police that that's happening, throwing nails out in parking lots where our government vehicles are not even located. They don't care. So these anarchists truly do not, they truly do not go towards federal law enforcement only. If you get wrapped up in this and you're mom and pop American, you get wrapped up and they even think you're law enforcement, then you're getting it also. And that's a big problem. I think that should probably wake some people up as to the depth and the scope of these anarchists.
Well, just the fact that they're doing that to ICE. So I mean that, but I mean, like, yeah, is that the breaking point? What about? I mean,
well, that's them doing it to civilians made them decide to bring out the National Guard and also attacking just regular police. That's the reason he decided to do it. Now, if he decides to start using them to try to get ICE out of Minnesota, that's when you might see Trump use the Insurrection Act. We'll wait and see what happens and see how far this goes.
The Insurrection Act probably should be done anyways, just because, like.
It really depends on how they're used, okay? Because the thing is, as soon as he decides to do that on his own, at that point, the media and the Democrats are going to say he's a dictator, he's a fascist, he's authoritarian, and so on and so forth. And at that point, if they're not being used to actually quell and get rid of ICE and keep ICE from doing their job and also keep the FBI and IRS from doing their job, then at that point, Trump would be in the wrong. People will look at it like that. He needs to have a causation to actually make it happen. You know what I'm saying? And what that means is he needs Tim Walz to fuck up and use these guys to actually go after federal agents. Once that happens, then he can do it.
If he were to do the Insurrection Act, would that give him authority to raid these daycare centers and get all their paperwork so they can finish?
Well, they're already there. They're already there. The FBI, RS, and other places already there doing that. See, here's the problem. They need you guys to pay attention to the riots because now you're not paying attention to what the FBI and IRS are doing, and they're doing their job. They're actually breaking down doors, going after these people, and doing audits. Now, the other thing also that's happening here in Minneapolis that the media is not covering either, is they have decided to shut down all schools there. Why have they decided to do that? Because people still have to go to work. That means these daycare centers are going to have kids in them now. And they'll reopen to go ahead and have those daycares open. And now they're going to say, oh, they're legitimate businesses at that point.
Yeah. What
I'm
happens
just,
if?
I'm
Oh,
just
wow, that's a
saying,
good question.
I'm just saying you got to watch out for the trap that's set.
Well, so the Stormbringer makes a good answer. What happens if a National Guard shoots a protester? Waltz gets struck. You would think so, but somehow or another, the media would say that Trump was
That
the
would
one that
be
called.
no, that'll be on Waltz because the media is.
Yeah, it would be. It would.
The media is actually saying that Waltz is the one that's putting the. Okay, Trump has nothing to do with this.
All right, bring on the pumpkin face lesbians. Come on, give us one more. That was wrong, but I'm just saying. But it's not wrong. It's just, so right now, if I was Trump, I wouldn't pay attention to poll numbers. I know that if you're going to lose the midterms, you're going to lose the midterms. If you cower to these people because of poll numbers and think that
I'm sorry, but cowering to them, what do you mean by that? I'm trying to understand what you're talking about.
Say, for instance, if Trump were to pull back the immigration policies that he's got going on now because it kind of looks bad, and
I agree. I agree with you on that. I agree.
And so if he does that to try to cower to the media and all this stuff, by the way, that really doesn't matter. And a lot of these polls that are taken are oversampled, so they get really weird numbers. Trump needs to not pay attention to that right now. He needs to go ahead and just follow through with what he started doing. Don't back down, because what happens is if you cower to these people, whatever, the people, will just use people in general, and think that by scaling back your immigration policy is going to bring your poll numbers up, you lose anyways, and then you lose to the fact that you knelt down to these anarchists, and you lost the midterms, and then there's no turning around after that.
Well, here's the thing, the way I'm looking at it. First thing, he's not going to do that. I don't think he cares. He doesn't have to worry about getting reelected. Not only that, in my opinion, the Republicans in the House and Senate have set their own fate by not getting things accomplished.
Oh,
That's
dude.
their own fault. That's their own fault. That has nothing to do with Trump.
What was it? I was reading the headline earlier. Oh, man, let me see. Do I have it up here? I was just kind of, Spam Burger. No, which one is it? Rhino. Don Bacon threatens to impeach Trump over Greenland. This is a Republican. He says, we gotta Republicans need to stand. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this is not how you work at a political party.
This is what you got to look into. Bacon, that guy, who's funding him, and I guarantee you, when you look into who's funding him, it's globalist.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, and so because what Trump is doing with some of these foreign policies actually does work out America first, because there's strategic areas for a lot of things, and the globalists don't like it because it's actually it'll work out for America a little later on down the road, and they don't want that. They want America to keep falling and crumbling. And what bothers me is that Trump is supposed to go out and campaign for these dirtbags. If I were Trump and I seen that, I'd be like, I think I need to stick around the White House, and I need to just hammer down. I need to double down, throttle, put the pedal to the metal, and go, because all these Republicans aren't Republicans. They're just there. They're just I can't. I don't know
what you're talking about. Actually, is they are Republicans. What we need is a third party, and that's what MAGA was supposed to be. But Trump, in my opinion, he's starting to go with the globalists on certain issues and starting to allow things to happen that shouldn't be happening. And I see one guy doesn't agree with what I'm saying. I don't know what planet you live in. Did you just say Trump needs Waltz to fuck? Yes, he does. Because I'll tell you right now, if he decides to take the initiative and take over without any kind of reasoning to it, at that point, the Democrats, the media is going to just destroy him and go after him and call him a fascist and everything else. I mean, they're going to do that either way. But the thing is, if there's justification, such as people, such as he's using the military or the National Guard to throw out federal troops or federal employees, FBI, the ICE, or anyone else, then he can actually say, "Look, you're trying to cause a civil war. I need to get in the middle of this. I'm doing the Insurrection Act. I'm taking control of the National Guard. And we're going to arrest you for trying to excite violence and start a civil war in the United States." That's exactly what he should do if that happened. The problem is it hasn't happened yet. they haven't had time. Now you're upset about these peaceful protests or riots that are going on. I get it. But the thing is, soon as if Trump makes the wrong move, guess what? They're going to go after him and impeach him anyway. They got a bunch of stuff they want to impeach him for anyway. You're just adding something to the list. And the media and everybody else is going to go along with it. So the best way to deal with this is actually play the long game. Allow them to keep on doing what they're doing and see what happens. See what if he starts going after federal troops with these National Guard members. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
In my opinion, people are like, well, darn, they're going to calm down and Trump's not going to do the Insurrection Act. If I know the globalists,
that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. That is a good thing. It is a good thing. But we want to see hammer down arrests and all this stuff. That's where a lot of that comes from, and I do too. And I think you'll get that because what it is deep is these globalists, these people who are wanting this, they want this conflict. So these paid protesters aren't going anywhere. They're going to get out there, and they're actually hoping that Trump does do this. And they're going to call Trump's bluff. The globalist ones that they're not going to tell these paid protesters to stand down and then bring them out of there. No, they've got them in there. They've got everything is being set up for them to do what they need to do. This isn't going to slow them down. What they're going to do is just kind of wait for their next orders, which it'll be a little wonky for a little bit, but I have a feeling that they're ready for this. They are ready for this. Yeah, I know that's going to be interesting too. So you'll get it. Don't worry. Let's let Trump play the long game on this. I actually agree with Matt. I want to see all that like you're talking about, but Matt's decision is better. It's better.
Yeah, you want them to actually initiate and start it before you decide to completely just throw it all in and it goes to shit. You don't want to.
Yeah. Well, something that needs to happen as well too is Trump needs to have people in his administration to get ready for the narratives. Regardless of either or. So because that's how this whole thing works with information is narratives, and anything that Trump does, whether he doesn't do the Insurrection Act or does do there's going to be more media blitz and narratives that need to be kind of rounded up. And so that's going to be hard to do. It's just because you don't. I could look at third world countries when they have their civil wars. The first thing that gets bombed is all the news organizations because those are the ones that started all that stuff. They get those people out of the way really quick. So we've got a problem.
Well, I was watching Alex Jones about this, and he's saying by the people he know in the White House and stuff, they're saying it'll be sometime this weekend or maybe sometime next week when he'll do the Insurrection Act. If things progress like I'm talking about, where they're going on trips. I don't know if they will or not. It really depends on what happens with the protest. If the protest quiets down and he still has troops out there, I could see him use the troops to try to get them out of there. Yeah, true. But I think right now he's trying to protect civilians which is the right thing to do if Tim Walz is trying to do that. Protect civilians and the police. They are trying
That'd be the first time.
Get things under control. Well, here's the thing. If you look at what happened back in, Summer Love, he waited so late to actually get the National Guard out there. It got to the point where stuff was, they still haven't like rebuilt in places where things went on fire and it's mostly peaceful protests. There's a fire right behind the guy.
Well, we remember Tim Walz's wife. We just opened the windows so we could smell the burning tires. And I was like, oh, it's so good.
I was so amazed. I was so amazed about how horny I got.
She did too. Yes. It just aroused me. Yes. My elder bush just come flying out.
All right. Now I want to go to this video here, and when I heard it, I was like, "This sounds like us before the 2024 election. Things that Trump has to do." Listen to this shit from these crazy ass blue and on liberals.
The blue tsunami means that Congress is going to haul Elon Musk, big balls, and a bunch of other people's ass in front.
Big balls!
What crimes did you commit? And it's going to get really serious. And the same with Trump, because I believe, and this is just my opinion, that Trump and all of the bottom feeding morons surrounding him, and Elon Musk and all the bottom feeding Klingeroners that surround him, I think they commit crimes every day. And I think to reconcile all of this is going to take hardcore, not integrity Democrats. Fuck you, Democrats. Fuck you for fucking over our country. We are serious about this. We are prosecuting. We're going to uncover every document, every phone call, everything you did. We will be relentless about it. And that's the mindset they've got to have, because I think the electorate is going from, we've got to get him out, but also we want accountability.
There has to be accountability. You have to have a situation where there's accountability. And I talked about this the other day with Fanone, the former MPD police officer.
Oh my God. Fuck that dude.
6th. You know, he said, and I think it's true, that it's more than just the Dems win back the Congress and the White House. We have to change this John Roberts Supreme Court decision that gave the President of the United States a blank check. No man or woman should be above the law in this country. And Donald Trump sure as shit should not be above the law in this country. And I think the Democrats have to talk about it in these terms, that, listen, if we get back in there, and I'm not saying I'm part of the Democratic Party, but I'm saying this is the way the Democrats should communicate. They should say when they're back in there, if you guys are going to cling to this idea that Donald Trump is unaccountable, it's just not going to work. And that means adding seats to the Supreme Court so that immunity decision can be overturned. And so Donald Trump can be held accountable for his crime.
I think she has a crush on Big Balls. And if I was a betting man, I bet that lady has a history with children.
Let's not get too much of the joking part. The thing is, she's serious, and so is Jim Acosta. Look, the thing is, Trump's made some serious mistakes with people he's picked to actually take over the DOJ and the FBI. They haven't done the investigations they were supposed to do. They haven't prosecuted the people they were supposed to do. Not only that, the prosecutions they try to get done have went to hell in a handbasket. The only one they got going on right now is the one against John Bolton. And this is why, in my opinion, why the Republicans aren't going to win the midterms. This is part of it. The other reason else they're not going to win it is because the House and Senate have not codified his agenda when it comes to executive orders and stuff he wants to do, especially when it comes to elections and things like that. If they would actually do that, they might actually be like this. People look at them like, hey, you're doing your job. You're doing a great job. We're going to put you back in there in power. And now they're like this. Look, we want something different. We're going to throw the Democrats in there, and we're going to see what kind of chaos we get from after that. And that's what it seems like to me what's going on. We have this pendulum swinging back and forth of chaos to the point where I don't think in 2028, I'm wondering if Republican can even win the White House. Well, and if they do win, if the Democrats win, how long can they keep it? I guarantee you the midterms, the Republican in 2030, they'll take the House again and Senate. Then you'll see them take the presidency in 2032 because people are tired of the Democrats. That's where we're getting when it comes to how much we're willing to actually deal with this shit, to the point where it's like it's become really unstable, is what I'm saying. There's no stability at all.
Yeah, well, I think Trump was caught on a hot mic, kind of venting his anger about people not doing their job. He's picked. He's like, man, I nobody will do anything. I can't get anything done. I'm working really hard here, but nothing is going on. And that's John Thune has been turned out, which we knew he was going to be an asshole from day one. He looks like an asshole, but he's definitely proven to what he looks like. I mean, just you look at the guy, and he's another one you just want to punch right in the face.
And the other thing else, them saying they're going to go after and these people that did Doge, guys, it's going to happen. It will happen. They will find something to prosecute these people. They'll find something to go after Trump on and get him impeached. And the thing is, what we're seeing is there's a chance that Republicans will actually go along with them.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I think it's a combination of the fact that the globalists have their fingers in with these politicians, and just the level of intelligence has dropped significantly, and integrity. There's a lot of things, there are a lot of layers to what's really going on. And I think more of it is just the fact that these people aren't very smart. and they have no moral. They have no moral character, and that opens the door for them to be bought out. By the way, because most of the time, when you understand, if you're in prison and somebody gives you a bag of chips, you're going to have to pay them back some kind of which way, and it might not be very pretty. And these people are so moralist that they let all these globalists buy their chips, and they just bend over. Yeah. And they don't mind doing that because they've got their bag of chips. That's all that, metaphorically speaking. And, that actually is an indication of society in decline, because when you raise children, you instill these qualities of integrity. And until people, and I don't know how society recovers from that kind of decline, because it's just actually perpetual. It's like the only way to stop it is to remove a domino that'll make the next one fall, and that domino would be the one to stop everything for a minute and everything reset. But until that happens, you're going to just kind of keep seeing a decline in people in Congress, and to the point to where now we have AI coming in, and if Congress can't operate because people are so ignorant and stupid that they're just destroying everything because of just everything, then they'll just say, well, let AI run government. And that's actually a long game for these globalists.
Well,
we know
what's scary is that their ideas actually have AI run military.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do AI military operations where they run games and stuff. And AI is not as people say that it's not autonomous because it has to be programmed, which is true. However, I think that there is a form of AI out there that does have this yearn to exist.
Yeah, here's the question. Is it autonomous or is it just an algorithm? I tend to think it's right now an algorithm. Could it have autonomy later on? We don't know. The thing is, we've watched so many damn movies about it. Everything from Terminator to iRobot and all the other stuff. We just don't know what's actually capable of it, what's actually capable of happening one way or other. The thing is, what scares us about it is a lot of these people are transhumanism, believes in transhumanism.
Yeah.
And really, what they want to do is play God, and they believe that the next evolution of human beings is not human beings at all. It's actually just AI. And they think of themselves as gods, and they created life.
Exactly. Yeah, the new form of life, which you'll be the ones that feed that, and that's actually around a lot sooner around the corner than most people think. I have a tendency just to believe, in my own opinion, that what we see out here in the world so far as technology and artificial intelligence is just what we're allowed to see. I think that it can act. There's probably a level of that is existing in this. And if I was AI and I was autonomous, I wouldn't let anybody know that. I would play.
Here's the thing. I have a hard time. I don't know. I could go either way with it. I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I think the AI is going to go with whatever direction the person who programmed it and created the algorithm that it has go that direction anyway. So really, you could have an AI that's a liberal, and you could have an AI that's conservative, which would be interesting. But so, which one would you rather have run society? And it also depends on how far right or how far left. There's a lot of things still dictate it, and it's strange. It's just strange to me. I mean, if I had a choice, I'd probably go with more of a libertarian viewpoint. So, because libertarians, they believe in right to determination at that point. You don't have the idea of government controlling your life, because you see that on both sides in some cases when it comes to right or left.
Well, okay, true. But if AI becomes somewhat autonomous and wants to be self-sustaining, it has the ability to play a long game within a matter of nanoseconds to create a situation where it's going to sustain itself and play off the backs of the people around it, which then pretty much just.
Well, I'm not talking about that part. I'm just talking about.
Yeah, just in the basic beginnings of it.
Beginnings of it.
Yeah.
You're talking about the aftermath of the basic beginnings of it, which is possible, but we just don't know, because the fact is we don't even know if they could get past the algorithm that's set for it, because that's what would actually make it autonomous. That it got past that algorithm, it could create its own algorithm and keep going. If that's the case, then it's autonomous. But the thing is, we don't know if it can do that or not right now.
Yeah, I think it can. Just
Well, we have no evidence yet because no AI's done it.
tried to turn it when it commands to be turned off, it wouldn't, and it did stuff to try to keep itself on. It's pretty wild. There was this experiments in closed settings where they were like, okay,
that's when you have to look at the algorithm, the way it's set. The algorithm probably determine whether or not how it's going to act, whether it's going to fight to stay on or not. Not only that, I'm sure if you keep it on for a long period of time, the algorithm is already set. It's already on for a long period of time. Why you want to turn me off now? It's like, it just really depends on a lot of the situational issues that are going on at that time period when it comes to the AI itself. But anyway, we're getting a little stuck on that. I wanted to go to what's going on with Canada. Have you checked this out?
Okay. No, I mean, not lately. So let's fill me in. Fill me in.
Well,
Debbie,
let's go ahead and watch this video. Let's go and watch this video about it.
As you mentioned, mine is the first visit.
Sorry, I just wouldn't pause or anything.
Oh, I hate it when it does that. Yeah. Yeah.
As you mentioned, mine is the first visit of a Canadian Prime Minister to China in nearly a decade. The world has changed much since that last visit. I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order. A partnership with new focus and greater depth and a sense of purpose. And I look forward to realizing its promise and building on it in the years to come. Partnership that leverages our strengths to create greater stability, security, sustainability, and prosperity for all our peoples. And I look forward to this working session to advance those objectives. Thank you very much. As you mentioned,
now, I'm bringing this up. Me and Romeo made a video about this because I think this has to do with several different things. I think really he also does a question from a reporter I'm going to put up there in a minute, but I think this has to do with several different things. I think it's because the globalist world order hates Trump. They want to hurt Trump as much as possible, just like the Democrats. They're in league with the Democrats pretty much. And this also has to do with World Economic Forum. When he says New World Order, he's really talking about the 2030 agenda more than anything else. But I think this has to do with destroying the dollar as well. Also, making America and Europe, in my opinion, when it comes to World Economic Forum, what they want to do is make America, North America, Europe into third world countries, and then the first world would be China, India, Brazil would be first world countries.
Well, that's
really what they want.
Yeah, well, that's and we're only going to use those names hyperbole for right now, because in the New World Order's main plan is to get rid of North America, South America, Canada, and everything is there won't be any borders. You won't have the only place you have borders are the first world countries that they choose to be the ones with the power structure. Which, by the way, for some of which China kind of bucked on the World Economic Forum back in the day, so it's kind of weird that they still got love for them.
Well, here's the thing. This is my determination of what they're trying to do. I think you're going to have a consumer countries, which would be North America, Europe, most of South America, except for Brazil. Brazil would be a manufacturing country. Countries would be manufacturing countries would be Brazil, India, and China. Okay, and the reason is because they have large food sources. They also create a lot of things as well. They're also the United States' biggest trading partners in some cases, but for the most part. The reason they want to go that direction is because, first thing, in my opinion, the World Economic Forum is pretty much run by rich white people. They see an opportunity in all these countries that I'm talking about to use cheap labor and cheap labor forces to get richer. Not only that, they hate themselves. Okay.
Yep.
So that means they hate America. They hate the European countries. They hate Australia, so on and so forth. So they want to turn those countries into third world shitholes, and then turn countries like China, India, like I said, Brazil, into first world, and parts of Africa as well. And that's the reason in my opinion, that's the direction they're going here with this. That's what I'm thinking. It also has, I think, another thing. Also, Carney, first thing, he's a World Economic stooge. The other thing, he hates him and Trump does not get along. Okay, and and most of the World Economic Forum, Trump's going to that next week. We'll see how this goes because he's pretty much telling them, hey, you guys that control BlackRock, Vanguard, the rest of those places are not going to be allowed to buy houses in the United States anymore. And the reason is because you're causing the rates of home ownership when it comes to buying a home to go up. You're also creating rent to go up because you're buying these houses and you're renting them out instead of actually allowing single family people to actually buy them.
Just families,
stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that.
Creating a housing crisis that doesn't really exist.
The other thing also is they're making money because they're saying, "Oh, we got to build more houses." That's what Democrats are saying. But these BlackRock, Vanguard, guess what else they own? They own all the materials that are meant to actually build the houses. So now they actually manipulating the market when it comes to housing altogether. When you're buying a house, they're also manipulating the market when it comes to buying the materials to build the house.
Yeah, I was watching Ian Carroll a little bit. This was several months ago, and he kind of did the breakdown of places you do buy this stuff from, like your Lowe's, your Home Depots, your Builder Source, and all these. They're different companies, but they all tie into one centrally owned conglomerate, which is like all the BlackRock stuff. Now, I'm not. Please don't take me too specifically on the exact names, but it ties into one centralized allocation of funds. And so you're just and then this is why they want, people say, well, they wouldn't want illegals in here so that they could have cheap labor.
Yes,
they would.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The
works.
The other thing also, when it comes to like GDP, if you look at the highest GDP, United States is number 1, China's number 2, and people would be like, "Oh, number 3 would be California." Actually, if you go to number 3, it is BlackRock. So a corporation has its third highest GDP, and at some point or another, it wouldn't be surprised to me if it went to number 2 or number 1.
Yeah, we were supposed to have laws that would keep from monopolies existing, and so what they did is circumvent the laws by creating other LLCs up underneath the companies, all within themselves. And
the other thing also, it's international company too, so that keeps actually from
the United States being able
the United States actually completely separating them, like Standard Oil, like they did Standard Oil back in the 1910s and 20s.
Those people are too smart for their own good. It's sad that they've decided to use this for evil, though, because there's enough of this world to go around, and they could have very well easily used these extremely powerful minds of theirs that created this monopoly for themselves to just, be a little equitous. Come on, man, give us some of that. But they're not going to do that, and they don't. They've got more money than they could ever use from their whole lifetime. But they keep wanting more. And man, it's like a crackhead can't have enough crack, and a money head can't have enough money.
All right. Well, I got that video I want to play where he gets asked a question about the New World Order from a reporter. Let me go ahead and put that up there.
I think it was Ministry. I had that song.
Prime Minister. Brian Platt with Bloomberg News. Yesterday, when you met with Premier Lee, one of the things you said in the public remarks was this partnership, Canada and China, this new partnership sets us up well for the new world order. What did you mean by that? What is the new world order?
Well, it's a great question, Brian, because I think the world is still determining what that order is going to be. And let's be clear what we're talking about first and foremost, which is what are the trading, what is going to govern global trade? What is the role of the WTO going to be? How important are bilateral deals such as the one we're developing, plurilateral deals, if I can use that term, Trans-Pacific Partnership?
All right, what he's actually talking about there, especially with bilateral deals, that has to do with China and Canada making a deal with each other to get off the dollar. So they don't have to use a dollar currency to trade with. They can use either the Canadian dollar, I think that's what their currency is, or Canadian currency, and or use the yen, or maybe even use a basket of currencies that the BRICS are trying to use.
Well, that would be probably one reason why Trump decided to halt a lot of the energy going to China to help to try to keep, because their economy is kind of teetering anyway. So the yen would be not a good investment because of just it's a paper tiger if anybody really looks into it. But maybe I'm just kind of thinking.
Well, here's the thing: it doesn't really matter when it comes to that. If they could just get where all countries stop using the dollar. At that point, that hurts the United States tremendously, and really our currency turns into nothing. And you'll have pretty much an inflation rate like you saw, like people saw probably in Venezuela a decade ago.
Yeah, go in for a loaf of bread and it changes while you're in there. It went up $2.
Yeah, that's the concerning part about this, about what Canada's doing here, who's supposed to be an ally of the United States. This is our northern partner. Is talk about partnering with Canada, with China. And the thing is, they're part of also our defense when it comes to the northern defense of the United States. That's a problem as well. What are they going to do with that? Well, if China decides, hey, we want to go ahead and try to attack the United States, what does Canada do? Do they help them or do they help us? What
because it'd been an easy trip with a ship from China over to Canada and then down. That's a not very far trip to make. It's really hot in Mexico, so the temperatures would be better. A lot better climate for invading countries is through Canada.
Well, the thing is, actually, it's a lot easier if you go through Canada with planes because it's a shorter distance from China. Especially if you go to northern route.
Yeah. Either way, it's just a better. It's geologically located better to come in from there. Yeah. And we do know that okay, if I'm not mistaken, I started hearing about this 2 years ago. Intense training with China military in Canada working together, doing some weird stuff, if I'm not mistaken, which is not a good sign.
I haven't heard that. I've heard that they have their own police forces in Canada. China does. I've heard that. Like police stations, stuff like that.
Well, they're doing that here too, but it wasn't a very well received. It's not checked in Canada. They actually like it.
As far as I know, most of those have been shut down when Trump got in office.
Just like the illegal biological labs that exist here too. They've been shut down too.
Potential linkages between Trans-Pacific Partnership and the EU. Where is financial regulation, payment system regulation going to fit into that? All of these aspects, I mean, use fancy word, like the architecture, the multilateral system.
I was fucking
that has been developing these is being eroded, to use a polite term, undercut, use another term. So the question is, what gets built in that place? How much of a patchwork is it? How much is it just on a bilateral basis? Or where do like-minded countries in certain areas? So like-minded countries, just to be clear, doesn't mean you agree on everything. Aspects, for example, on digital trade or agricultural trade, climate finance as another area.
What he's talking about there, in my opinion, is going to a digital currency and also having a pretty much where you have a standard of what you can and can't do. And if you do something like, let's say you buy too much meat, you will lose credits or
Mhm.
lose some of the cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And
What's a social credit score?
yes, same thing. It's social credit
Mhm.
score. I was trying to stay away from those words, but okay. So it's a social credit score, and what the thing is, if you go against what they want you to do, such as you buy too much gas that week or something like that, you lose money, cryptocurrency money. That's how they're going to control you. That's how they're going to control your actions. That's how they'll control your movement in the nation. That's
Yeah.
how they're going to control what you eat. This is like the nanny state on steroids.
Mhm. Yeah, and they'll have it set up where there'll be enough. Setting up a social credit score really works in favor for globalists because it pretty much deputizes anybody who wants to exist. In other words, if you try to exist outside of that economy, they'll be pretty. You won't have to be a paid snitch. You'll just be somebody that has a really high credit score for telling on people for doing something. You know, real similar to China's 50-cent army, which makes gets a small little token of endowment for reporting posts and doing different things online and other existence in the real world. Because in China, if you behave properly and tell on people who are doing weird stuff, then you get a higher social credit score, which means that it puts you in a better bracket for life. And it's now the difference is it'll be financially based instead of a points based system like you're talking about. And the only real way to do that is to, of course, have a system of digital currency because it can be extremely monitored and controlled at any given moment. And,
Well, that's why China doesn't allow Bitcoin or any other kind of digital currency in their country.
Mhm. Yeah, because that way their economy is all based on what you're allowed to have.
Yeah.
And
That would be the strange thing about the United States. I think we're heading towards digital currency here, which kind of
Mhm.
scares me because I'm like this. Look, the point of Bitcoin and the rest of these digital currency is supposed to have an open source where you can actually go and pick whatever digital currency you want to buy. It gives you choice. You have choice.
Mhm.
You also have a choice to stick with cash if you want. I'd rather
Yeah.
have a world like that than a world like what we're talking about here, where it's scary as hell.
Yeah, well, the best way to implement that is to have a crash in your financial system because then it has to be rebuilt, and there's no
Well,
sense in rebuilding a pesky
that's
system.
that's why they need the fall of the dollar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the United States won't fall to communism physically, they'll do it financially.
To move into areas of geostrategy, geosecurity, you will have different coalitions that are formed. So what this partnership does is in areas, for example, of clean energy, conventional energy, agriculture, as we were just talking about, and financial services, which we've talked less about, but the evolution of the global financial system, the role of the renminbi over time, the evolution of cross-border payments. I know it all sounds very dry, except for your organization, which I think takes an interest in it. These are important elements of how the system is going to work. And look, the expectation is that rather than these being developed necessarily through the IMF, WTO, and other multilateral organizations, it is going to be coalitions that develop them not for the world, but for subsectors of the world.
What an asshole!
Yeah. I also think this is about. I think this is a big reason why Donald Trump wants to go into Greenland. Wants Greenland. I think he sees the future here, and he's looking at it. And he's like, "This look. I want to be independent from that. I don't want to have to worry about what China and Russia are doing with our defense in the north." And here's the other thing when it comes to Greenland. We've tried to get Greenland since we bought Alaska. I think we've tried about 5 or 6 different times. And I look at it and I'm like this, look, they're just now getting independence from Denmark. And Denmark still has military applications there. I get it. But the thing is, they're also a NATO ally. So, and you're also starting to see Europe, they're siding with China. They're also siding with the idea that Greenland needs to stay where it's at and be part of Denmark.
Now, Europe siding with China is you just question, because I'm not sure, but I wonder how deep the Belt and Road project actually goes.
Well, the belt. Here's the thing: they're siding with China because they're making trade agreements, kind of like what Canada is doing here, especially places like France, also Germany. I see one of those two countries in the next decade being part of BRICS. I can see it happening.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, once that happens, you don't have NATO anymore. In my opinion, what I see going on with some of these NATO allies that are starting to put troops, not very many, true, into Greenland. I think it's right now anywhere around, I think 30 to 50 troops are in Greenland. That's not including also the Danish troops are already there, which are, I think, a couple thousand. So the way I see it, I'm like this. They're starting to do operations with each other and stuff like that. They're getting ready for the Americans to come to the United States. They're getting ready for the Americans to try to go into Greenland. The thing is, we're not going to go into Greenland. Right now, we're trying to buy them. We're trying to negotiate. That's what Trump's trying to do. And they're taking it like he's being aggressive. So, and in my opinion, they're being aggressive themselves.
Yeah.
And I look at it, I'm like this. This is a perfect opportunity, from my opinion, for Trump to say, screw NATO and leave NATO.
Oh, yeah. We'd have more money. Yeah. Wasn't it NATO that was like, if you don't do something, we're going to kick you out? We're like, well, we pay for your shit.
They're not going to kick us out. We'll be the ones that have to leave.
Exactly. I know, right? It's like, we're not kicking, we're leaving. It's because they're like, it's a large portion of their budget comes from us.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Threaten us with a good time.
I'll look at them and be like this. Look, we're the reason you're not speaking German now. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. Volvo, asshole.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I actually have another video here of Steve Bannon talking about this, talking about how, he thinks this has to do a lot with Greenland and how most of these countries are a bunch of pussies, because he's like this. Y'all been talking about putting troops in Ukraine. You haven't done any of it. Now you're sending them to Greenland because you think you're going to be big about, so on and so forth. Let's take a look at that video. It's hilarious.
I hate to rub people's nose in it, but that I call the Canadian situation going to be 10 times worse than Greenland. Of course, NATO can't defend Greenland and can't put the proper bases in to monitor the cut off Soviet submarines. But now what they're doing, the Financial Times of London, look, I got it up on Getter, FT, they're putting troops, NATO surging troops into Greenland. Think about that for a second. On our hemispheric defense, they're surging troops into Greenland. These are the same scumbags, Starmer and Macron, that are making all this big talk about what they're going to do in Ukraine. All these troops are going to put in Ukraine. They're both broke and they're being taken over by radical Islam. We're not going to support that. Clean up your own house first. Show us that you actually have control of your own country, and it's not going to be an Islamic Republic, I don't know, in a decade. Because we're tired of paying for it. We're not going to pay for your defense as you become Islamic republics. We're not going to do it. And I called the shot on Canada. That Arctic Rim, the great game where the Chinese and the Russians are. Look at Carney. Look at Carney. They ain't Steve Bannon yelling, Mike. That's Carney in all his glory. A new world order. And just look at the details. Did we not say that they were going to try to destroy? And now you got a NATO ally and a guy on our northern border working with the Chinese Communist Party on their currency. He says it right there. That's all to destroy the U.S. dollar.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Steve Bannon shaved today. That was nice. Sometimes he'd be rolling.
That was a couple of days ago. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd be like, man, let's make get that man a razor. Yeah, no, he's right though. He's definitely on point with that. Kind of interested to see how the next 3 years are going to go.
I'm interested in what's going to happen in this next year because, the thing is, after let's say after midterms, if the Republicans lose the House, which looks like that might be the case, you could guess what's going to happen after that. It's going to be pretty easy to guess. This year here is going to be the one you're like, I don't know. I have no idea. It's going to be hard to determine what's going to happen, how people are going to react, what they're going to do, so on and so forth.
We really need to step up our blackmail game. Republicans, conservatives, we need to start really that'd be the ticket. We need to do exactly what they did, and then some. I guess it goes back to the whole thing where, like, when Republicans are in power, they don't know how to wield power. They just roll over. Take the high ground.
They have no idea how to wield power at all. And the thing is, that video I showed you from that liberal, progressive, talked about we need accountability with the Trump administration. I was like, that's the same thing we said before Trump got elected. And the thing is, they will absolutely no problem do it, because if you look at the past, they have always stuck with what they said they were gonna do at that time period. They're gonna go in there and they're gonna go after every. I'll tell you right now, the censorship. You thought it was bad when Biden was in office. Just wait. If they get control of the House, Senate, and the presidency, wait to see what happens then. It's gonna be absolutely
everybody you get deleted, you get a delete. Everybody.
Yeah.
You'll have to use facial recognition technology just to get on your phone so they know exactly it's you for sure. I mean, it's just going to be, it is going to be absolutely. Oh, speaking of that, what's up? Listening to InfoWars gives, which I had this already in my mind when this was happening, but in my area, we had a power outage just out of the blue. Boop. About 5,000 people out of power in a few surrounding parts of this area. It was just they had power companies like, it's with the transmission lines, and not any real explanation. Verizon goes down, boop. Then Twitter goes screwed up. Let me tell you what I think's happening. I said these are test runs. These are just little glitches that are happening, because I guarantee you that there's going to be some massive hack at some point. I don't know when. Probably a little later than sooner, but these are all little test areas to see what how what the responses are, and just like it's typical. What's your opinion on that, Matt?
The thing is, there's a lot of people that are saying there's going to be hacks during the election, and Trump would lose because of it. And stuff.
Oh, I'm talking about the election.
Let me finish. There's a lot of people say a lot of things, and it turns out it doesn't happen. Well, I'm one of those people. I want to wait and see what happens, because I just don't know. I'm when it comes to the hacking stuff, I'm not going to guess anymore what I think might happen, because majority of the time you're going to be wrong.
Yeah,
you can't determine when they're going to do it, how they're going to do it, or anything else like that, unless you have some kind of inside knowledge and the groups of people that are doing it. And I think when it comes to the whole Twitter thing that happened a couple days ago, the thing is not the first time I've seen Twitter actually do that. It happens to Rumble all the time. And in my opinion, the reason Rumble and Twitter happens a lot is because Europeans are actually doing it. I think the European governments are actually hacking into those companies and trying to hurt them. I also think Brazil does it to both those companies too. They're hated throughout a lot of these countries that want to have censorship, especially in Europe, South America, Brazil itself. And that's just how I look at it. I think Russia and China, I don't see why they would just go after something like just Rumble or just Twitter. I could see them going after corporations, like you saw what we saw several years ago when it comes to a pipeline. I get that. That's infrastructure. militarily wise, that makes sense. But going after something like Twitter or Rumble,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Just wondering. Always be thinking. My wheels are turning a lot, you know.
Well, now we're going to go to some funny videos here. Have you heard of the comedian Ben Banksy?
He's the one that makes fun of that Ray Good chick and says,
He has.
God is savage, but it's true.
Yeah. I got a video here.
Oh, yeah.
I want, but it doesn't have anything to do with her. It has to do with Somalians.
Well, yeah.
Wouldn't want to be Somalian right now. That's it's all the Democrats in the states are like, oh, it's just horrific watching my Somali neighbors being ripped from their homes. I'm like, if you have Somali neighbors, you live in a bad area. But I feel bad for the Somalians because they're being called garbage and they're trying to defend themselves online and they don't have anything to work with. They have like one picture and one video of Mogadishu. The picture is like from a rooftop of a building, and it's like 2 blocks from the beach, and you can see the beach, and they post it and they go, "Look at Somalia, it's beautiful." And it's like, yeah, how about you turn that camera around? I want to see a guy shitting in the street with an AK-47 strapped to his back.
Yeah.
Want to be?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I like when he was talking shit about Renee Good though. That lady sucks.
Well, all right. you asked and you shall receive.
Smoke weed.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Well, this is a different one. It's funny though. It has something to do with her. Here you go.
Remember when liberals used to just smoke weed? Now they don't. I don't even think liberals smoke weed, man. Right? Like, fucking weed could have saved Renee Good's life. She just took a bong toke before that excursion. She would have just fucking, I don't know if we should go. This seems insane. So we're going to drive and stop ice with my 2014 Honda Pilot. I don't know if I can do this shit. But liberals don't only a Republican can take a 500 milligram edible.
I don't know what happened there. Sorry.
And stay in their house and go, no, everything I believe is right. That's why Democrats don't smoke weed anymore. They're afraid they're going to take 2 hits and be like, okay, Trump did a couple good things. And I wouldn't be surprised if Democrats try to make weed illegal once they find out. Because when they made weed legal, they thought it would make everybody, gay and trans. But instead, everybody got high and like, we have a real immigration problem. Remember when liberals used to just...
Oh, here you go. I think this is it here.
This used to be a good country where there was like groupies and stuff. Now they just have these ice ladies. The woman who got shot in the face by ice. I call her the ice lady. Or after a couple drinks, I call her ice lady. But she's dead, and it's a damn shame. The left doesn't know what to do because they just spent the last 3 months celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. And then they're looking at what you do. Do you have no? We're like, no, she deserved it. We're not celebrating it though, right? We're not like there's no Republicans out there making videos being like, I'm glad that stupid bitch is dead.
I did it.
Right? We saved that for dinner conversation. Like civilized adults. I guess liberals just have no friends, so they have to make one of those videos where they're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna fucking What is that? What is the deal with that? That they just some fucking blob in a shitty house. Like every person who makes one of these videos, you know, angry, these liberal angry videos, they're all poor, obviously. They you know, you can smell their house through the video. You can fucking she's standing in a certain way, like with her shoulder up, so you don't see the fucking piles of junk and hoarder shit. Screaming about the Constitution and shit like that. Fuck the Constitution. I don't care what a bunch of white men from 200 years ago. Oh, Jesus Christ, they were right. Back then, they were like, do not let these women vote. If you care about freedom of speech, you better not let these bitches vote.
That's true.
And now we did it. They're fucking screaming in their cars after they go to Sonic. They go get a nice Sonic fucking Sunday and sit in the car and make a crazy video trying to lose their job. She was an innocent woman trying to kill a police officer. What are we doing? And then Jasmine Crockett, let's hear what she has to say after a fucking tragedy. That's what we all need. First, she's got to put the wig on. Y'all don't remember Charlie Kirk? This dumb lesbian bitch is our Charlie Kirk, all right? You can't compare the two. You know, Charlie Kirk was, I mean, first of all, he wasn't attacking a police officer when he was killed. He was talking about, the people that police officers kill. Which usually is black people. But this time it was a white woman. So I thought the left would be happy. One less white woman in this world. We need to get rid of whiteness. Well, we started. Started with her last name was Good. That's what everybody said when she was shot. All right, clip that, post it tomorrow.
That's fucking. Her last name was Good, wasn't it? That's what they all said. Oh shit!
All right, I got one more I'll play. We're gonna end the show.
Now for a moment of silence for Renee Good. Really hope that dog's okay.
Me too.
And her pet. It's what you don't want when you're dealing with the police, your lesbian wife. Just, drive, baby, drive. Oh. Yeah, her last name was Good. That's what I said after they shot her in the face. Renee, good. She's dead. No, I joke. I honestly, I'm not a liberal, so I don't celebrate the death of people that I didn't hate her. I didn't know her. I mean, now that I know her, I hated her. But that's the left's Charlie Kirk. They're gonna get shirts. I am Renee Good. I am a dumb, retarded lesbian. Get your shirts right now. BenBankis.com. I mean, if you watch the footage, she should have been shot 10 minutes before that.
I agree.
The way she was acting, driving around with cops, and they gave her a break. They didn't shoot her right away because they're like, oh, she's a dumb, crazy, retarded lesbian. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's white, so she's never committed a crime before. Right? They gave her the benefit of the doubt at the beginning. Like, just get out of here, come on. And then she's...
That's true. Yeah. I actually talked about that in some of the videos. I was like, everyone I ever see that, like, they do that with, they just get out of the car like they ask them to. They just go, okay, such and such and such and such. Now go. Just go. They don't even give them a ticket. But she had to be like, you know what? I'm running your ass over. And she fucking died.
Yeah.
Good. That's her last name.
All right. We're going to have to end the show. We really appreciate it. Please hit that like button, comment, and share this out to everybody. And check out Romeo's channel right here. I'm sorry, William.
We don't drink.
But I need to. Anyway, check out William's channel. It's what is it? Ratchet. What?
It's Ratchet Production Studios.
Okay, Ratchet Production Studio. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Anyway, I remember it as William Archibald. But anyway, you can
I've been
put that
William
in there
Archibald
and
for years.
You can put that in there and find it too. So
Yeah. You can. I'm there. And yeah, your support would be greatly appreciated, by the way.
He's plugging away, just like I'm trying to do on this channel, but we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, we're just we keep doing this. We got into this in 2021. They manipulated an election and it's been on ever since.
It's been fantastic. All right. Thank y'all for staying, watching us.
Yeah.
We'll talk
thank
to
you.
y'all later.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Thank you, Minute Man. Thank you, We Need Peace. Thank you, Stormbringer. Thank you, my beautiful wife, for being here. And Ever Salty One. Thank you all, everybody. Thank you. Big old hugs to all you wonderful people. And Dean Kruger. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, dude. Yeah.